Good afternoon, High Button sports fans. Welcome inside the Member 2 Sport and Wellness Center as we get set for this afternoon's rematch between the Dartmouth Steele Subaru and the Sydney Mitsubishi Rush. Starting in goal for Dartmouth today, number 31, Will Cole. And getting the nod for the Sydney Rush today, number 33, Brighton Hardy. We are underway, and Dartmouth control off the face-off. Kept in at the line there by Quinton Lands. Throws that towards goal, squeaks under the feet of Deacon McPhee. He can't clear the zone. Back to Land. He'll chip it ahead. Picked off there by Coda Lewis. Lewis will get it through the neutral zone, but not far as Calvin Carver turns it up ice in a hurry. Takes Liam McLeod to the outside. And that one will squeak under the pad of Hardy. And just like that, Dartmouth opens up a 1-goal lead. Oh, they're calling that one back here, actually. They're saying the puck was kicked in, so the Sydney Rush catch a break there as that one comes off the board, and we are still tied 0-0. Here comes Dartmouth yet again, right down the side. That one under the pad, or in the pad of Brighton Hardy. Dartmouth using a ton of speed here early on, breaking down the wings. They win another face-off. Very good in the face-off circle last night were the Dartmouth Steele Subaru. And they controlled long stretches of play as they went on to a 5-0 victory here last night. But we start all over again. McPhee ahead for Turner. He'll just tip that in. Hardy leaves it behind there for Angus McLean. He'll try and reverse it, but Brendan Smith breaks that play up. Quick shot from the slot. Hardy sliding across to take that away. The quick transition and the speed of the Steele Subaru was on display last night, and it's been on display very early on in this one here this afternoon. Andrea wins that face-off. Crawley will get that out into the neutral zone, but not far as Dylan Poplinski draws back into the lineup this afternoon, and he'll play that one back into Rush territory. Deacon McPhee also left the game early last night, so great to see him back in the Rush lineup for today's game. Now Dartmouth. They'll get it out, and it is Munden. Chase Munden trying to split the D, but he won't get far. And then a couple players go barreling into the net, knocking that off the pegs. So we will get a face-off coming up to the right of Brighton Hardy. Talk about how good the Dartmouth Steele Subaru were in the face-off circle last night. Well, Max Bryan was very good. Doesn't win that face-off, but other than that, he was extremely good in the face-off circle last night. Puck gets stuck on the back of the net here, so we'll get a whistle, stoppage in play, and another face-off coming up inside the Rush zone. This one to the left of Hardy. Bryan in to take the draw yet again. And he'll win that one clean to Tremblay. Over for Lands. Cross for Duffy. His shot just up and over the crossbar. Quinton Land keeps that on. But not enough, as now the Rush will chip it down the ice, but not enough for the icing. Matt Phillips in on the forecheck. He and Coda Lewis try to jam it free, but it's Bryan. weaves his way through the neutral zone, steps on a stick, but that will be enough to draw the penalty. Tripping call upcoming against the Rush. It will be going against Coda Lewis. And Dartmouth will have their first opportunity on the power play. Not many penalties in last night's game. No power play goals. Dartmouth will get their first chance today early on. Shot blocked by Morrison, but it's picked up by Munden. Sorry, that's Munden. Over now, back for Ryan. Sam Ryan's shot turned aside by Hardy, but Ryan's got it again in behind the goal. Looking at his options, throws it up top for Travis Tremblay. That one almost squeaked out over the line, but the Subarus keep it in. Tremblay, his shot, another block shot there by Morrison. This one rims around the boards, but not out. Tremblay up for Sam Ryan. Ryan loses the handle on it, gets it back. Tremblay, his shot. Now the Rush will gain control and get it down the ice. Good penalty killing by the Rush, keeping the Subarus to the outside. But now Dartmouth right back in the zone. Under a minute to go in the power play. Up top here's McPhee. Back for Ryan. Over for Tremblay. His shot off a skate. Bounces around, and this one will go in. And this one won't come back. As the power play strikes for Dartmouth, it appears to be Brendan Smith leading the charge. Sorry, that's Travis Tremblay. My apologies. Tremblay looks like he will be credited with the goal. Again, a bouncing puck. Ends up in the back of the net. And Dartmouth strikes on the power play. And just like that, another tripping call upcoming. This one going, this one going against Tristan Turner. Clips his man coming through the neutral zone. So now the Sydney Rush will have their first opportunity on the power play. Shutout last night, so looking to get their first goal of the weekend. Scramble play at the blue line, and now with a bit of speed, here is Smith. Cuts to the middle of the ice. Loses the handle on it, and the Rush regain control. Morrison ahead for McLeod. McLeod will rim that in. Jumps over the stick of Morrison, but McLeod is there to cover. Liam McLeod stops up on the half wall, feeds it back for Morrison. Back for McLeod. He's got some space. He'll shoot that one off a skate and over the boards, but it's Jacob Dunn on the half wall now. Over now, back for Liam McLeod. McLeod tries a cross ice feed, but good stick in the lane there by Poplinski. He'll chip that ahead, just out of the reach of Brendan Smith. And here comes Morrison yet again. Tries to rim that around the boards. It hit a skate and jumps out in front of Will Cole. And he'll cover up. 49 seconds to go in the man advantage for the Sydney Rush. Rush win the draw, back for McPhee. Over for McLean. McLean will move down into the corner. Rims it around for Deacon McPhee now. He'll shoot that off Cole's blocker and straight up. But Henry is there, rims it around. McPhee does a great job keeping that in at the line. McLean throws it through the middle of the ice. That skips over the stick of Ben Guthrow. Now Ben Henry He'll get it off the glass and to the red line, but McLean stops it there. 10 seconds now to go in the power play. Deacon McPhee chips that in. And Dartmouth will work it up the half wall once more now. Into the zone they go. Seth O'Leary's shot kicked aside by Hardy. McPhee flips that up. Down to Poplinski. He'll stop up behind his goal and start a breakout. Cross, here's McDonald. He'll enter the zone, throws that ahead for Bryan, who tips that just wide. Now Tremblay feeds that puck up top. Now in behind the rush goal is Angus McLean. Off the glass, but not out. Tremblay throws it down low, but good stick in the middle of the lane there by McLean, is able to clear that puck. Played ahead now. McPhee tries to hit Phillips, doesn't connect. Ethan Miller will beat out the icing call. And now Dartmouth get it back out. Tremblay gets over the blue line. Cross ice feed for McDonald. He'll try a cross ice feed back, but it's off a rush skate. Bouncing puck now at the top of the rush zone. And it'll be Quentin Land who will pick that up. His shot doesn't miss by much. McLeod chips it ahead. Lewis tries to skate onto it, but Liam Duffy there to break that play up. Zach McIntyre with it. Back for Phillips. Phillips will try and reverse it for McLeod. Now McLeod just stops up behind his goal, waiting for the rush to change up some personnel. Ahead for Parker Lee. Now here comes Crawley. Dartmouth regain control. Now Chase Munden. Ahead for Sam Ryan. Ryan fans on the shot. In behind the goal it goes. Heavy puck pursuit. Thrown up the middle. Chase Munden breaks that play up. Land surveys the top of the options. Down for Carver. Thrown out front for Munden, but his stick gets tied up. Now back into the corner. Munden will play it. Try to play it up top, but it's broken up there by Hogan. And he'll get it out. But just like that, Dartmouth comes right back in. McLean for Morrison. His shot goes off a shin pad. Rush enter the zone. Heb. Angus McLean jumps off the line, but it's turned over, and here comes Tristan Turner. Turner with a head of steam. His shot over the crossbar. McPhee throws it right back down low, and Turner's first one on it. Jumps over his stick. Rush. Regain control. Now they'll try and get it out, and McLean gets just enough to poke it into the neutral zone. Heb tosses it back down the ice. Not enough for icing. Turner. Lead pass for Burgess. He'll hit a streaking Smith. He's turned aside now. Ryan keeps it in at the line, turns it up ice. Top now, Ben Henry. He'll get to the middle of the ice. He'll switch off with Alistair McPhee. Henry still with it now, working his way down the wall, but the rush regain control. Cross ice dump, gets it out into the neutral zone. Just enough time now for Alistair McPhee to wind it up. He'll stop up, trying to find the trailer, but it's broken up by Liam McLeod. Rush now. Headman the pass. This one jumps over the stick of Jake Dunn as we head to our sponsor break.
Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cast. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit jrsons.ca and tell them High Button Sports sent you. John Ross and Sons, scrap metal made simple. Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross and Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit
Face off now to the left of Brighton Hardy. Draw one cleanly there by Miller. Ryan out front, Sparks with a shot. Hardy finds that and covers up. Face off will come up once again to the left of Hardy. Scramble draw and Dartmouth come away with it. Stumble there on the line by Dartmouth and able to get it out, but they'll turn around and as they touch up, they'll throw it right back in. Sam Ryan picks it up off the half wall. Thrown down low. Battle in the corner. There's McIntyre and Sparks. Help on the way. And it pokes free to go up top for Thompson. He'll throw it right back in. Now in behind the rush goal. They battle once more. Ryan strong on his feet up top for Poplinski. He'll throw it towards goal. Charlie Thompson jumps right back on that and throws it down low once again. Ryan spins off his man, tries to throw that out front. It hits a rush player. Into the corner it goes once again. This one will be flipped up and out of play. And the face-off will come inside the rush zone once more, and once more it'll be to the left, Brighton Hardy. Bryan in to take the draw, and he'll win another one. Duffy will pinch in off the line to keep the play alive, and he will do that. Bryan stops up. He has some space and time. Duffy again throws it back down low. Bryan tried a Michigan, but to no avail. Duffy, his stick explodes on him as he tries the one-timer, but Dartmouth still in control in the zone. Quinton Land for Trombley. Now Ben Henry off the bench, and Phillips tries to beat him, but Henry does a good job of separating the man from the puck. Here comes Dartmouth once more. Henry jumping up into the play, being very aggressive. Phillips reads that play, and now he's away over the blue line. Phillips, the call up now for the rush from the Cape Breton Jets. McLeod, one-timer from Lewis. That one didn't miss by much. Now trying to get ahead of steam was McPhee, but he'll turn it over, and here comes Austin Miller. Tries to squeeze that out front. Battle in behind the wall. Lewis. He'll get it and throw it deep. Henry picks it up. Munden can't get control, and McLeod will read that and keep the play alive in the zone for the rush. Now, here's Munden billing ahead of steam as he takes on McLeod. One-on-one toe drag move, but to no avail. Munden with it once more. His shot off a post and goes to the outside. Rush still not able to get it out. Thrown back in around. McIntyre back to get it. Throws it up the wall. Hogan is met there by a Dartmouth player, but Rush able to get it out. Here is Gideon. He will get to the red line and dump it in. Cole out to play it. Leaves it for Munden. He'll reverse it for Poplinski. He'll flip it out into the neutral zone. Offsides will be the call as McLean holds the blue line, and Dartmouth had just a little jump. 5:36 to go here in the first period. Dartmouth with a 1-0 lead. Smith, cross corner dump. Turner's in to get it. Plays it up top for Lands. Back for Turner. He weaves his way through the offensive zone. Chipped ahead there for Duffy. And now the Rush able to get it out. Quentin Land, he'll try again. Down the boards he goes. He spins off and feeds it up top for Smith. Brendan Smith's shot gets through, and Brighton Hardy kicks that aside. Land's got some space, gets to the top of the circle, shot. That was tipped in front, but Hardy makes yet another save. Brighton Hardy looking good early on here. He's had some struggles this season, but he's looking good so far today. Cross ice feed broken up there by the Rush, and now they'll break it out. Jacob Dunn to the outside, loses the handle. Dartmouth will chip it out into the neutral zone. And now here they come once again. Another play broken up. Andrea. Whistle in behind the play. Net comes off its pegs. Face off will come outside. As we are under 5 minutes to go here in the first period. Thrown in behind the goal. Henry leaves it there for McLeod. McLeod tries to bank it off the glass, but it hits the glass and goes up and out of play. Sparks in to take the draw now for Dartmouth. Another win by Andrea. So the Sydney Rush much better in the face-off circle so far in this one. Henry with a head of steam. Tries a cross ice dump, and he will get it in. Liam McLeod backtracks to retrieve. He's met hard there by Seth O'Leary. Out for Munden's shot. His shot didn't miss by much. Now McPhee pinches off the line, and he'll get the puck. Ben Guthrow filling in the middle of the ice, tries to get it out, but now the Dartmouth back on the attack. Munden's shot off the boards up top for Henry. Sparks plays it up top for Henry again. His shot hits a stick and goes wide. Munden leaves it there for Tremblay. Over now. Shot saved by Hardy. More good puck movement here from this Dartmouth team. Again, Brighton Hardy has been very good so far in this period. He's faced 10 shots. Bryan plays it ahead to himself off the face-off. Thrown across the ice. Tremblay just out of reach. Rush can't get it out as Thompson will play it in behind the goal. McIntyre goes back to play it, but he's watched closely there by a couple of Subarus. Poplinski. His shot off Hardy's pads in behind the goal. Bryan with it, tries to tuck it in. But Brighton Hardy with the pad there and makes another big save. Face off coming up now to the right of Hardy. Miller gets just enough to get it out into the neutral zone, and here come the rush. Phillips shot. Cole grabs that one out of midair to make the save. Offensive zone draw now for Sydney. Coda Lewis in to take the draw now for the rush. Scramble draw ends up behind the Subaru goal. Stretch pass for Ryan. He'll just chip it in deep and give chase. Angus McLean reverses play, but Carver is there to pick it up for Dartmouth. Down low for Ryan. He'll throw it up top. Duffy not there to keep it in, so the Subarus have to touch up. Thrown back in now. McLean tries to reverse up the boards, but Land is there to throw it back down. Here's Munden, shot off the post. And he will get his own rebound off the post. And he will make no mistake on the second one. And Chase Munden gets his second of the weekend. And that's the second of the game for Dartmouth. Draw one by the rush. Morrison for McPhee. Lewis tips that in behind the goal, so no icing. Land loses the handle, but nobody home there for the rush. Turner chips that in. Smith. He tries to break through, but too many bodies in front, and the puck will squeak back out. Morrison knocks down that attempt at goal. Reverses it for McPhee. McPhee tries to chip it out, and they will finally get it out into the neutral zone. Now Quentin Land ahead for Smith. Smith dumps that in. McPhee back to retrieve. Lead pass now for Dunn. Jacob Dunn. He'll throw it in. Thrown in behind the goal. Smith tries to get a step. His progress broken up. Miller will flip that up and out of play. 31 seconds to go here in the first period. McIntyre. Chipped in by Lewis. Cole will leave it there for McPhee. This one will go the length of the ice, and icing will be the call. That shot goes up and out of play. So another face-off coming up inside the Dartmouth territory. Coda Lewis, he'll win the draw back. McLeod with the clock winding down. McIntyre's shot gets through. Nobody home for the rush, and it's cleared. And that will do it. Furious finish to that one. Sydney comes oh so close to breaking the goose egg on Cole, but after 20 minutes of play, Dartmouth lead the Sydney Rush 2-0. We will be back after this brief intermission.
Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family-owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit jrsons.ca and tell them High Button Sports sent you. John Ross & Sons, scrap metal made simple. Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family-owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit jrsons.ca and tell them High Button Sports sent you. John Ross & Sons, scrap metal made simple. Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family-owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit jrsons.ca and tell them High Button Sports sent you. John Ross & Sons, scrap metal made simple. Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family-owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit jrsons.ca and tell them High Button Sports sent you. John Ross & Sons, scrap metal made simple. Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family-owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit jrsons.ca and tell them High Button Sports sent you. John Ross & Sons, scrap metal made simple.
And welcome back for second period action here between the Dartmouth Steele Subaru and the Sydney Mitsubishi Rush. Dartmouth control off the face-off to start this one. Ryan, he'll chip and chase. First one on it, down in the corner. Now Duffy, cross ice feed for Lance. Thrown out front, that goes off Hardy's pad into the middle of the ice. Munden finds that one, now he'll find it again. In behind the goal it goes. Aggressive forecheck from Dartmouth to start this one. Good pad save there by Hardy. As Dartmouth applying the pressure early on in this one. Land dances around McLeod, but he meets Deacon McPhee, who eliminates him from the play. Now McDonald chips that down. McPhee throws that cross ice. Bryan up top for Tremblay. Back down low for Bryan. He'll beat Coda Lewis one-on-one. Thrown out front. Hardy comes across. And he will find that. Furious pace to start the second period here by Dartmouth. They get it into the zone and go immediately on an aggressive forecheck, creating all sorts of havoc in around the Sydney Rush goal, but Brighton Hardy standing tall once more. Now Jacob Dunn, he'll draw a tripping call. Alistair McPhee will get the trip. And Sydney will go to their second power play of the afternoon. Dartmouth win the draw. Rimmed hard around by Poplinski. All the way down to Hardy. He'll leave it there for Angus McLean. Back from McIntyre. McIntyre cuts to the middle of the ice, knocked off his stick. Here's Bryan. Bryan has it knocked off his stick by McLean. Dunn, cross ice feed from McIntyre, off his stick. Now it'll chip up and into the Rush bench. Face-off coming just outside the Dartmouth zone. Scramble draw, and McLeod will come away with it for the Rush. Tries to step over the line, but he's turned away. So Coda Lewis will try again. Lewis dances around a couple of Steele Subaru players. McLeod down for Lewis. He can't get it down deep, and Dartmouth will chip it out of the zone. Morrison has a retreat all the way back into his own zone. Now Morrison will start the breakout. Under a minute to go in this man advantage for the Sydney Rush. Morrison chips that in. Rush maintain control, but now Dartmouth get a hold of it, but not able to clear the zone. McLeod saucers it over from Morrison. Phillips. Lewis finds Phillips down low on the goal line. Thrown out front now. McLeod shot. McLeod didn't miss by much. A sprawling Will Cole with a desperation save, and in doing so, gets his stick lodged in the net and knocks it off its pegs. Dangerous chance there for Sydney. Just 12 seconds now in the power play. Another shot on goal there, and Cole will gobble that one up. Draw one by Dartmouth. Rimmed around hard and down the ice. That will do it. Penalty over. Another successful kill for Dartmouth Steele Subaru. Team's back to even strength. Poplinski's shot turned aside by Hardy. Down low, it's now Bryan. Spins off his man, leaves it up top for Henry. He'll go D to Poplinski, and he'll just tap it down low. Poplinski keeps it in the line once more, but it squeaks over the blue line, and Dartmouth will have the touch up. Stick in the lane there by Turner, and he'll chip it down for Bryan. Bryan steps around, McPhee shot, and they score. Smith will get he'll get the tally, but it comes off a great play started by Turner, keeping that puck in. And then again, they went to work. Turner to Bryan to Smith, and the back of the goal it goes. Thompson. Head for O'Leary. Saucers it over for Tremblay. Lands. Down for O'Leary. Sydney not able to get very far before they get turned around once more. Now Morrison. Cross ice feed, nobody there, so Dartmouth will regain control. Thompson. Headmans it for O'Leary. O'Leary. Just a little stutter step allows Dartmouth to go off sides. Face off coming outside the rush zone. Draw one there by Dartmouth. And they will go off sides one more time. So the face-off once again will come up just outside the rush territory. A draw one there by Dartmouth. McPhee showing off his skating stride here this weekend. Very mobile skater. Good showing this weekend by McPhee. He was a part of that Team Nova Scotia for the Q Cup. Speaking of good skating, here's Liam McLeod from Miller. But good back checking there by Sparks. In behind the Dartmouth goal. Rimmed around for Tremblay. He'll backhand it through the middle of the ice, and O'Leary will get there first and just chip it in behind the rushed goal. Ben Henry down there, first one on it. Pinching in the defenseman. Sparks with it. Henry back up top now. Throw it in, and it's off Munden's stick. Or actually, it looks like they're going to let that one go to Henry. Ben Henry with his second of the weekend. Thought it might have deflected off Chase Munden's stick, but that one will have gone right in, and Ben Henry with his second of the weekend. Munden rims that in around. That shot goes wide. Try to get it to the goal, but broken up there. Now in behind is Carver. That shot again, just wide. Up top for Henry. Over for McPhee. Sam Ryan dances around Lewis. Now moves his way in behind the goal. Henry's shot goes off a pad. Now Phillips thrown ahead. But Dartmouth once again clogging up the middle of the ice, making it near impossible for the Sydney Rush to break through. Dartmouth right back in on the forecheck. Thompson tries to throw it towards goal, but too many white shirts there to impede the progress. McLean chips that in behind the goal. Now Guthrow gets on it first. His backhand attempt goes wide. Munden taken out there by Phillips. Now McLean working it 1v2 in the corner, and the Rush will come away with it. Here's Morrison jumping up in the play. Cross ice dump. Poplinski there to get it. Backhands it to Thompson. Up the wall to Tremblay. He'll chip it ahead for Bryan. McLeod, first one back there to retrieve it for the Rush, but he's watched very closely by a couple of Subarus. Thompson tries to get it in deep, but not deep enough. And Sydney's able to get it out. Poplinski circles his goal, and he'll start up ice. Weaves his way through the neutral zone, gets to the blue line, and chips it in behind the goal. Bryan, first one on it. Circles to the half wall. He's watched closely by Morrison, but now he'll leave it there for Tremblay. He'll circle out. Switches off with Poplinski, but Tremblay still with it. Feeds it down for Duffy. Can't get it past McLeod's stick. Down low, Battle and Bryan still on it. Gets down on his knees, back up, and he's still with it. Up top for Duffy. Land throws it on goal, and Brighton Hardy will stop that. .11:25 to go in the second period. A couple goals by Dartmouth in this period. They have opened up a 4-0 lead against Sydney. Land. His shot. Seeing eye shot. And they're all going to converge on Quinton Land. So it looks like it didn't hit a Subaru stick, but it definitely changed direction. I believe Land will get credit for this one. And here comes Dartmouth once more. Turner. Some coincidental minors coming up. Will be Deacon McPhee and Brendan Smith will each go to the box for roughing. Thrown in behind the goal once more. Turner. Here's Land again. His shot, that doesn't miss by much. Turner throws it towards goal. Burgess gets there first. Now Bryan off the bench, jumps into the play. Sydney able to get it out of the zone, so Dartmouth will have to touch up. But they'll throw it right back in. McIntyre watched closely there by Bryan. Now Ethan Miller tries to cut through the middle of the ice, and that's broken up again by the Subarus. Shot on goal, makes it to Hardy, and he'll knock it down. Miller takes a hard hit there from Bryan, but here comes Jacob Dunn, one-on-one. His shot. Cole gobbles that up, and he'll take the face-off. Face-off coming up to the right of Will Cole. Thrown up the wall for Tremblay. He'll skate onto it. Tremblay stops up. Throws it in behind the goal, and Bryan will get there first and just throw it right back down. Coda Lewis tries to disrupt the play, and now he'll skate it out. Chips it past Poplinski, may have a 2-on-1. Coda Lewis feeds it for Phillips, thrown out in front, and Cole with another big stop as Sydney trying to get something going offensively. And a play broken up there at the blue line will be offsides, and that will take us to our sponsor break.
Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family-owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit jrsons.ca and tell them High Button Sports sent you. John Ross & Sons, scrap metal made simple. Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family-owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit jrsons.ca and tell them High Button Sports sent you.
Face-off coming up outside the Rush zone. Draw one there by the Rush. Fed ahead. Not enough for icing as Poplinski goes back to get it. Leaves it there for Thompson. He'll fan on it just enough, but it does get out. The Rush regain control and throw it back in deep. Poplinski steps out from behind his goal. Rush break that play up. Phillips for Lewis. Coda Lewis's shot just up and over the crossbar. Pass doesn't connect, and it gets in behind Liam McLeod. McLeod hits a rut in the ice and goes down hard. The puck goes into the corner now. It's tangled up along the wall. Refs urging them to move it. It will come free. Morrison ahead for Phillips. Phillips can't get it by Sam Ryan. But now Matt Phillips will chip it ahead. His progress is impeded by Thompson, and Thompson will get the gate for interference. Charlie Thompson to the box for interference. Sydney will go back to the power play. .8:12 to go here in the second period. Sydney looking for a little offensive spark. McLeod. He'll lose the handle. Dartmouth will clear that out of the zone. Morrison sets up behind his goal. And Sydney will break out. Crawley chips that in, and he'll give chase. He and Andrea hard on the forecheck. Now Ben Guthrow is there to help out. Feeds it up top for Morrison. Back for Guthrow. Guthrow in a puck battle, and he'll lose that one to Bryan. Bryan, short-handed try. Save there by Hardy. Opportunistic on the penalty kill are the Dartmouth Steele Subaru. But now Sydney with control again. McLean, he's taken out by Turner. as the puck continues to battle down low in the Sydney zone. Burgess trying to waste some time as 45 seconds left on the Sydney man advantage. Dartmouth with control. They'll get it down the length of the ice. Again, Sydney having a hard time gaining control here on the man advantage. Now down to 20 seconds on the power play. They'll get it in deep and give chase, but Poplinski is the first one on it. Rims it hard around the boards, and Dartmouth will get it out once more. Here's Burgess. Leaves it to the high man. McPhee is shot, and he scores. Short-handed tally by Alistair McPhee as Burgess stops up to find the trailer. And it is, in fact, Alistair McPhee. And that will be number 6. This team's now back to even strength. Too many men on the ice is the call. Going against Dartmouth. So right back to the penalty box they will go. They got caught up in a line change. So back to the penalty kill go the Subarus. Morrison rims it in wide. McPhee is the first one there. Dartmouth will chip it out into the neutral zone and force Sydney back into their own zone. Cross ice feet. Morrison chips that in. Chipped ahead, Munden is the first one on it. Chase Munden, his shot. Hardy finds that, leaves it there for Matt Phillips. He'll headman it to Miller. Miller is met there by Poplinski, and he'll separate the man from the puck, and Dartmouth will once again gain control and get it the length of the ice. Under a minute now left in the man advantage for the Sydney Rush. McLeod can't get it in deep as Dartmouth stops progress once again. That puck played by a high stick, so we will get the call. Play blown down, and it will come back outside the Rush zone. .30 seconds left now in the man advantage. McIntyre goes back to get it for the Rush. He'll leave it there for McLeod. Walking on to it there is Parker Lee. Dartmouth will once again get it and get it out of the zone and down the ice. McDonald standing up in the bench in the penalty box. As the in-house scoreboard shows 1 second left on the Rush power play. McPhee. McDonald out of the box. Shot on goal just wide. Tremblay. Keeps. Finds McPhee. Switches it back to Henry. Leaves it there for Tremblay. Tremblay's shot goes wide. Oh, and Bryan, first one there, tries the wraparound. Scrambling now play in front of the rush zone. As Dartmouth once again very aggressive on the forecheck. Here's Henry. His shot lands into the padding of Henry. Rush will take a face-off. 3:18 to go. The face-off comes up to the left of Brighton Hardy. Smith stops up. Back for Duffy. Duffy's shot doesn't get through. Hits his own player on the way to the net. Turner goes to the bench in a little bit of discomfort, taking that shot in a place where there is no padding. Thrown out in front. Now Burgess. Headmans it for McDonald. Rush control, McIntyre, head for Dunn. Jacob Dunn. He can't find the handle on the puck. And once again, good coverage in the defensive zone by the Subarus, and they get back up ice in a hurry. Here's O'Leary across for McDonald. McDonald with more time and space. Seam pass there to O'Leary. His shot turned aside by Hardy. Another puck battle along the wall in the corner. It squirts out into the front of the net, and Angus McLean will play it up and out, but Thompson regains control. Dartmouth will have the touch up. McIntyre steps out from behind his goal. Chip pass up off the boards. Now here's Phillips. Drop pass for Lewis. Offsides is the call. .120 left here in the second period. Dartmouth Steele Subaru with 4 unanswered in this period to extend their lead to 6. That play backing out of the zone, so Dartmouth will have the touch up. Sam Ryan. Here's Munden. Watched closely there by Austin Miller. Munden able to get it down low for Ryan. Plays it back up top for Henry. Cross ice feed for McPhee. He'll play it down low. Back up top now. McPhee to Henry. Carver swings out to the top of the zone, and he'll try and get some shots before Sydney is able to get it out of the zone. Under 30 seconds left here in this second period, and Dartmouth coming right back down Main Street. Face-off coming up inside the rush zone. Bryan in to take the draw for Dartmouth. He'll push it into the corner and be the first one on it. Tries to cut to the middle of the net, but his progress is impeded. Thrown out front. Bryan all alone, but just out of reach. Tremblay. Weaves his way up, but runs out of time. And after 40 minutes of play here in member 2, the Dartmouth Steele Subaru 6. The Sydney Rush, no score. We'll be back with third period action after this brief intermission.
Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family-owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit jrsons.ca and tell them High Button Sports sent you. John Ross & Sons, scrap metal made simple. Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family-owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit jrsons.ca and tell them High Button Sports sent you. John Ross & Sons, scrap metal made simple. Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family-owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit jrsons.ca and tell them High Button Sports sent you. John Ross & Sons, scrap metal made simple. Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family-owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit jrsons.ca and tell them High Button Sports sent you. John Ross & Sons, scrap metal made simple. Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family-owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit jrsons.ca and tell them High Button Sports sent you. John Ross & Sons, scrap metal made simple.
And welcome back inside the Member 2 Sport and Wellness Center as we start third period action between the Dartmouth Steele Subaru and the Sydney Mitsubishi Rush. Puck up top for Dartmouth. Thrown on goal. Turner deflects that towards goal. Hardy turns that aside. D-to-D pass. Land. Good stick there by McLeod. Breaks that play up. Phillips chips it, but not out. Thrown back in behind the goal. Deacon McPhee. He will get it out. And Dartmouth will have to touch up. McIntyre takes a bump to make a play. He'll get to the red line, but Smith knocks him down. Battle along the wall, comes free. Here's Tremblay. Gets to the top of the face-off dot. His shot wide. Henry's there to keep the puck in. Now chipped out into the neutral zone. Dartmouth will have to touch up once more. Bryan in behind the goal, but it's chipped along the wall, but McPhee is there to touch it back down as the forecheck continues for Dartmouth. McDonald leaves it for Tremblay. He'll go low to high for McPhee. His shot gets through and Hardy turns that aside. Henry's shot, another shot gets through, kicked aside by Hardy. Walking off the line now is McPhee as Dartmouth has Sydney hemmed into their own zone. Bryan tries some toe drag moves, but again, Sydney not able to clear the zone. The offensive zone time really mounting right now for Dartmouth. Now they'll able to get it out, and here comes Ethan Miller. He's got Dunn over the Dunn. Dunn shot, save Cole. After an extended amount of time in the defensive zone. Quick strike by the Rush, but good save by Cole. Morrison keeps that in. He'll throw that towards goal, and that is stopped by Cole. Good chance there for Jacob Dunn, but Will Cole with a big save. Played around the wall. Thompson. Played ahead for Burgess. He'll just chip that forward. Burgess with it again. His shot up and over the crossbar. Sparks. And here comes Miller. Chipped ahead, Sparks skates onto it, 3-on-1. Sparks. Good back check by McLeod, but O'Leary will pick up the loose puck and fire it up and over the blocker of Brighton Hardy. Seven nothing now. The Steele Subaru lead the Sydney Rush. Shot save Hardy. Another shot. This one hits Munden in front of the net. Fed ahead just out of the reach of Ben Guthrow. And Land will pick it up and rim it around, and Dartmouth is out of their zone. McLean will fire that right back down the ice, and icing will be the call. Face-off coming back inside the rush zone. Kicked aside by Hardy. Comes back up top for Henry. His shot gets through. Chipped out into the neutral zone by Guthrow. McPhee leaves it there for Smith. And he'll chip it in behind the goal. Turner loses the handle, but Burgess is there to help out. Smith again behind the goal, up top for Ben Henry. Feeds it down for Burgess. Up top for McPhee. His shot high off the glass. Henry pinches in off the line, keeps the play alive. Sydney once more not able to get out of their own zone. Turner's shot, that's off McLean's skate. Another shot, another save by Hardy. Waves of offensive pressure coming from the Steele Subaru, and that's been the story all weekend long here in Member 2 between these two teams. Now they'll get it out. Fed ahead. Thrown in behind the goal. Poplinski is there to clean it up for Dartmouth. And they are out of the zone once more. O'Brien takes on McIntyre. Pulls up, finds the late trailer McDonald. He'll play it up top for Thompson. Back down for McDonald. They'll chip it in behind the goal for Tremblay. Parker Lee not able to get it out as Brian breaks that play up. Now Tremblay will rim it around up top. Poplinski's shot. That one goes just wide, and it'll be enough to leave the zone. And Dartmouth will have the touch up. Gives Sydney an opportunity to switch up their personnel. Touched in behind the goal. Miller's cross ice feed goes off Brian's stick, and here he comes again. Mishandles the puck. McDonald's shot, that goes wide. Brian is the first one on it. Steps around Morrison. Fed back down low. And again, Sydney hemmed in their own zone, not able to get it out. Thrown out front, and there is Brian, and he will pot that one over the glove of Hardy. Waves and waves of offensive pressure coming from the Dartmouth Steele Subaru, and they are able to put another one in behind Hardy. Delayed offsides the call, so Sydney will have to touch up once more. Smith, cross ice feeds. .12:30 to go here in the third period. Another draw won by Dartmouth. Duffy. Play broken up there by Coda Lewis. Now for McPhee. Chipped in behind the Dartmouth goal, and Liam Duffy there to retrieve it. Smith plays that puck ahead, but it's going to go and land under the glove of Brighton Hardy. Face-off will come to the right of Hardy. Another face-off win for Dartmouth. Munden chips it ahead for Ryan. Over for Carver, leaves it there for the trailer McPhee. Save Hardy. And the Rush come away with it. Hard on the back check is Alistair McPhee. He disrupts that play. McIntyre for McLean, up for Miller, and he will chip it in. Munden feeds Carver. Carver steps around McIntyre. We got a penalty in behind the play. Cross-checking will be the call, and it will go against Sam Ryan. Face-off coming inside the Dartmouth territory as the Sydney Rush go back to the power play. Draw one by Dartmouth, and they will clear it right down the ice. Sydney will have to regroup and try again to get his own entry. Not able to do so as Dartmouth regains control and fires it right back down the ice. Out front, Burgess walks on it and scores. Shorthanded tally for Ethan Burgess as that puck squirts out into the high slot, and he will walk on it and make no mistake. And Brighton Hardy's afternoon is finished. Mason Doucette in between the pipes now for Sydney.
Steele Subarus goal scored by number 9, Ethan Burgess. Assisted by number 2, number 20, Tristan Turner. Time the goal, 9 minutes, 28 seconds. That's Burgess from Kaplinski and Turner at 9:28.
Puck play to the hand pass, so face-off will come outside the Dartmouth zone. Sydney still on the power play for another 50 seconds. Andrea chips that in. Picks it back up. McPhee tries a cross-ice pass, but it's broken up there by McDonald. He'll try the pass, but cross-checking penalty coming up against the Sydney Rush, and it brings us to our sponsor break.
Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family-owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit jrsons.ca and tell them High Button Sports sent you. John Ross & Sons, scrap metal made simple. Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family-owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local.
20 seconds left in the Sydney Rush power play. Face-off coming now to the right of Mason Doucette. Rush win the draw. Rimmed around the boards, but Poplinski is there to keep it alive. McIntyre loses the handle behind the goal. And Bryan wins a puck battle down low. Tremblay throws it up top for Duffy. Now Dartmouth Steele Subaru are on a power play as Deacon McPhee received a penalty just before going to that break. 120 on the man advantage for Dartmouth. Duffy for Ryan. His shot into the shin pads of Miller, and Sydney will clear it down the ice. Tremblay stops up inside the blue line to get the power play set up. Poplinski shot. Doucette comes out to grab that and will take the face-off. 46 seconds now left in the Dartmouth power play. Burgess out to take the draw here for Dartmouth. They control once more. McDonald over for Burgess. Back for McDonald. Plays it down low for Smith. Thrown across the crease. Nobody there, but Burgess regains control for Dartmouth. McDonald's shot doesn't get through the traffic in front of goal, but Alistair McPhee keeps it alive at the blue line. Up top for McPhee. He's looking for his options. Shot gets through. Doucette the save. He'll find it through traffic, cover up, and take the face off. 9 seconds left in the power play. Another draw won by Dartmouth. Lands for Duffy. Duffy works his way in down low into the corner, tries to throw it out front, but not able to do so. Dartmouth able to keep the play alive at the blue line once again. Andrea over the red line, chips it in deep. Land stops up. Now he'll try and start a breakout. Tries to hit Burgess, cutting through the middle of the ice, but Andrea will throw that right back in, and Dartmouth will try once more. Duffy steps out from behind his goal, headmans that puck for Burgess. Burgess walks in, feeds it down low, tries to reverse, go across the grain. There was Carver, but it ends up in behind the rush goal. Morrison reverses it back for Andrea. He'll rim it around the boards, but coming right off the bench is Sparks. Sparks will spin and fire that through the middle of the ice, but Sydney regains it, but a good job by Sparks. He gets it right back. Cross ice feed there for Henry. Now McIntyre. Steps up. Morrison fans on the pass. Reverses course. Gets it up the half wall. Now McPhee ahead for Sparks. Sparks backhander just wide. Henry. D-to-D pass. Misses the target, and Dartmouth will have to touch up. That one off the stick of Doucette and out of play. Face-off coming to the right of Mason Doucette. Draw one by the rush. Not able to get it out as Dartmouth regains control in the offensive zone. Bryan drops for Tremblay. Along the boards, top to Poplinski. His shot off Doucette's glove and wide. Now Thompson chips it down the wall. Not far enough as Phillips chips that down the ice. Not far enough for icing. Here comes Dartmouth once more. Across the line. Net comes off the peg, so we'll get a whistle. Turner spins off McPhee. Puck gets in behind Land, but he's there to retrieve it. Hogan. Thrown out front. Deacon McPhee keeps that alive. Shot on goal there by Gideon. Penalty coming up now to Dartmouth. Head contact will be the call. Quinton Land will be the penalized player. 4 minutes left in this one. Another dominating performance by the Dartmouth Steele Subaru. Morrison back to get it. Chipped in, Liam Duffy goes back to get it. Morrison has some space, finds McPhee. His shot doesn't get through, and this one's going to rim around and out into the neutral zone, and Morrison will retreat back to his own goal. Morrison stopped at the line by Henry. Now battle along the half wall. Dartmouth will get it and send it right down the ice. Brendan Smith, first one on it. Not able to cut to the goal. He's still on it now is Smith. Good piece of penalty killing work right there. Morrison leaves it for Deacon McPhee. He'll get to the red line and dump it in. With a burst of speed now. Shot. Save Hardy. I think the ref wanted him to move the puck, but Doucette. 2:19 to go in the third period. 15 seconds to go in the man advantage. Munden's shot turned aside by Doucette. Shot turned aside by Cole. There's McIntyre. His shot doesn't get through. Jacob Hebb. Now it's played ahead for Carver. Hits the trailer. Ethan Miller stops up. Leaves it there for Dunn. Dunn overskates that, and Dartmouth control, and Ryan will play it ahead. Jacob Dunn pulls up, tries to get it through a sea of blue shirts, not able to do so. Another penalty upcoming, another head contact call, and another one going to Dartmouth. This one will go to Henry. Draw one by the rush. McLean shot. Cole finds that and covers up. .103 to go. Dartmouth with another face-off win. McDonald will throw it the length of the ice. Cole trying to decide what to do with it. Does decide to play it. Matt Phillips right there, but not able to put one past the goalie. Cole looks like breaking his stick on the play. So he'll get a new stick here as we got 41 seconds to go here in the third period. Dartmouth trying to leave member two with back-to-back shutouts. McPhee's shot gets through. That one did not. Now McPhee chips it back down low. Under 20 to go. Dartmouth will get it down the ice. One last chance for the Sydney Rush. But that will do it here in member two. And the Dartmouth Steele Subaru will walk away with a 9-0 victory here in member two. And that is back-to-back shutouts for the team from Dartmouth. Your final after 60, Dartmouth 9, Sydney 0. We thank you once again for tuning in to High Button Sports. We hope you've enjoyed this broadcast and all of our broadcasts. And we will see you again soon. Take care.